Hello, my name is Christian Crowley, and I'm going to be talking to you about our development of a computational cervical spine model for clinical investigations. Now, why would you want to create a computational model of the cervical spine? Well, the reason is that it's actually quite difficult to measure the internal mechanics of the human neck, and even if it wasn't, most people would probably object to you instrumenting their spine within a lab. What we can do instead, however, is model the cervical spine within a simulation space that, if validated correctly, can actually give just as relevant information as an experimental test. So if you were looking to develop a cervical implant, for instance, you could first model your implant within this simulation space and get relevant information that you could then use to choose if you want to proceed with clinical investigations. So far, we have developed and implemented the four major parts of the cervical spine, which can be seen here. Unfortunately, I only have time to give a high-level view of each of these components, but this slide is here for your reference. In brief, the vertebral bodies are the bones of the spine and define its overall shape and structure. The facet cartilage governs the contact between those vertebral bodies and how they slide against one another. The intervertebral discs join adjacent spinal levels together and is the main source of the mobility in the spine. And then finally, the ligaments serve to limit the rotation of the spine to prevent injury. As far as future work, the first thing we need to do is validate the spine. That is, prove that the data it produces is consistent with experimental trials. Validation is already underway, and we hope to have it finished by May. After this, we want to do a cervical implant simulation where we remove one of the discs from the models and replace it with a total disc replacement implant, which is already on the market, namely the ProDisc C. Once we do that, we can then measure how that implant changed the biomechanics of the spine. And then finally, we want to make this model open source. There's not that many cervical models readily available for people to use, so we thought it would be really valuable if we were able to develop this model, validate it, show how it could be used, and then release it to the public. That way, we all can work together to advance biomechanical science of the spine and ultimately healthcare design for spinal implants. And that's what our research is ultimately all about, improving healthcare for all of us. There's a lot more that can be said about the spine, but there's only so little time. So if you have any questions, please email me or leave a comment, and I'd be happy to get back to you. Thank you.